This oil is made from coconut oil. It's a combination of coconut oil and pig fat, a thing known as lard. It has assorted of ingredients in there like salt, black peppercorn, masala, paprika. I wasn't gonna keep on doing this anymore, but I got all jazzed up and excited about this one. This wasn't planned or scheduled. This is more of like a whim. So I've been attempting to make rice and peas, or rice and beans. The Jamaican call it rice and peas. Belizeans and the Creole people from Louisiana call it rice and beans, or red beans and rice in Louisiana. I successfully did it after 30 years of trying. I actually did it today. I am so excited. So what I'm doing right now is just trying to get all the moisture, the steam out. And this beans is this is the first time I'm actually using and cooking this type of beans. This is the leftover beans from Father's Day meal. Yesterday I made a meal that's traditional, huge in Jamaica with this type of beans. Let me see if I can get a couple and get a close up. But there you have it, my first time making rice and beans without ruining it, actually. So I flavored the rice and the beans prior. Like I said, I wasn't going to make a video because I felt that it would have flopped or I would have ruined it. So I used paprika powder, masala for spice, and recently learned that the capsaicin in masala, spicy extra hot chili powder, cayenne and other pepper help to preserve food. So this is the reason why I add masala to my thing to help with the preservation. It actually lasts 3 or 4 days, but you get 2 days where it's preserved and lasts even longer. Mustard seeds. This one is coriander. I put this in there as well. All these different things does different things for your stomach and stuff in the body. Yeah, finally did it. Open fire too at that, because most of the time it wasn't on an open fire pit. I would cook it on conventional modern day stove, and I would it was edible. So that's what I did. As I do open fire, I'm learning how to like attempt to use different phases of the cooking to make whatever I'm doing. For example, today was rice. Like the other day, I'm pretty good at cooking just regular rice on anything. So the last 2 days I'm able to do a thing what is called rice bun in the pot, get all the moisture out, and for that to work I take the lid off. So right before it's fully done, most guys just leave the lid on. What I do when I'm doing it now, I just take the lid off. So I leave it at least 10-15 minutes or less. You just use your own discretion and intelligence, and you'll tap into your culinary experience to get it to where the grain can be individually separated and picked up individually. So that's what I've done on my open fire. I just leave the last little bit of charcoal there to just keep warming and heating up the pot, and I come in and I fluff and flip the rice ever so often and ever so gently as not to break the grains, individual grains. And then that helps to get me pretty close to doing what a thing is called rice bun. which is pretty popular here in Belize and Central America and the Caribbean. I love it. Add some color to your life. So once I nailed this and I saw that it was perfect, I did some research and facts checking, and I found out that rice and beans is a global thing, and it was popular in the Caribbean, pre-Cristobal Colon, pre-exploration of the European and African and Asian continent to the Western Hemisphere. It was also popular in Mesoamerica. So the indigenous people of the Caribbean and Mesoamerica cultivated different types of beans, and they made something similar to this as well, because the Taino or people were from the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, possibly Puerto Rico, Cuba, Jamaica, other parts in that region. You have their Arawaks. There I'm a little rusty with the history. Arawaks and Caribs. So those are present-day Garifuna. The present-day Garifuna on the mainland, on the Western Hemisphere mainland, they were islanders first. So they combined different types of grain to make something similar to this. Once the global exploration took off and came over to the New World, the Portuguese and the Spaniards or the Spanish brought Asian rice, because they were trading with Asia via the Marco Polo trade route and the oceanic trade routes as well. In West Africa, mainly Ghana influential this part of the world, which is the rice and beans. There's a form of that happening there as well, global exploration as well, and it was also the same in Asia as well. I didn't do a in-depth research about Asia, but I did facts checking and found out and realized that, like I said, Asia, there's a form or a type of rice and beans that they claim that they used to combine back in the day. Same in parts of Africa, different parts of Africa, and different parts of the Caribbean, and different parts of Mesoamerica as well, pre the global trade routes and man reconnecting and finding other man on the planet. So the global foodways was influenced and impacted by trade, exploration, and the desire to basically want to live and just experience Mother Earth, explore it. In West Africa, it's called rice with cowpeas. Today, it's known as black-eyed peas. For North America, which is Louisiana, the Creole iconic Monday dish, which is red beans and rice. And that dish has a little bit more moisture. There's sausages and stuff. I think it's andouille sausage or different types of sausage that they add to it. That same dish is also a technique of cooking is have a combination or influence from Africa. It has techniques from the indigenous people in the Caribbean due to the migration, and Central America as well. So in Mesoamerica, they use a combination of grains and legumes pre-global exploration to make our modern day version of rice and beans. Now it have been influenced by the global trade, because you have indigenous and indentured servants from India and Asia that came over, and they brought their culinary experience and ingredients that they add to the food and influence food in the Western Hemisphere as well. So hence I'm using these different types of ingredients and seasoning in the food that I made today. So as you can see, it's starting to dry out a little bit on the top. So I use some of my pigeon peas to make, I use 1 cup to be precise, because this is what I'm going to use. I'm prepping and doing a garden bed, getting ready to plant these bad boys here. Found out that they need a lot of sunlight, direct sunlight. They got to make sure the area that you pick It's not saturated. They don't like too much moisture or water. Kind of rots the roots. So I'm doing research, learning about it. But this is what I used to make my rice and beans today, and it came out amazing. So I'm jazzed up. I'm excited about it. So there you have it. I'm excited to try it. It's going to be just this for my meal right now because I got distracted doing research and I didn't make the other thing that I wanted, and I am running out of time. Check that out. I'm proud of myself. And it tastes good too, so taste it with your eyes, smell it with your eyes. So fun fact, I had to cook these twice because the first time my first attempt I didn't cook it long enough and they were still a little hard on the inside, and I put it on for another hour and it was still hard. So then I put it on again and I finally got it. So do your research, check how long it takes for something to cook. Check out your cooking books, Google. I got started on this process like around 10:30. Took me a while to get the fire going. Once I did, took me about maybe 10-15 minutes before I can get the wood lit and have a good healthy fire going. And once the fire got going, in like less than 5 to 7 minutes, most of the moisture had drained out. And I was doing research, and then something told me just go check. And when I checked, it had a lot of flame, and once I popped the lid off, I realized that I was successful and I had accomplished making rice and beans perfect for the first time ever.